One of the most persistent myths about the British Mandate period in Palestine is that hundreds of thousands of Arabs flooded into Palestine illegally, lured by the jobs created by the growing Jewish economy. Nothing could be further from the truth. Let's start with the findings of the 1930 Hope Simpson Report on the period of 1920 to 1930. The report divided the Jewish settlements into two categories: the PICA colonies and the Zionist colonies. The Palestine Jewish Colonization Association, or PICA, was founded in 1924 by Baron Edmund de Rothschild to manage the Rothschild-funded colonies established during the first Aliyah of the 1880s. These purchases rarely displaced Arab tenants. According to the Hope Simpson Report, relations between the colonists and their Arab neighbors were excellent. In many cases, when land was bought by the PICA for settlement, they combined with the development of the land for their own settlers, similar development for the Arabs who previously occupied the land. Sadly, this model became a relic of the first Aliyah and was replaced by what the Hope Simpson Report called the Zionist settlements. The Jewish National Fund, JNF, founded in 1901 at the Fifth Zionist Congress, was the Zionist movement's land purchasing arm, acquiring land in Palestine to be held in perpetuity for the Jewish people and leased exclusively to Jews. The report cites clauses in Jewish National Fund leases to ensure the total exclusion of Arabs. The lessee undertakes to execute all works connected with the cultivation of the holding only with Jewish labor, where the lessee has contravened the provisions of this article 3 times. The fund may apply the right of restitution of the holding without paying any compensation whatever. One of the biggest JNF deals was the purchase of about 59,000 acres from the Beirut-based Sursuk family, mostly in the Jezreel and Marj ibn Amr valleys. It forced the eviction of more than 8,000 Palestinian peasants from land they had farmed for generations. The report had this to say about the mandate's conduct in this transaction. In Article 6 of the mandate, it is the duty of the administration of Palestine to ensure that the rights and position of the Arabs are not prejudiced by Jewish immigration. It is doubtful whether, in the matter of the Sursuk lands, this article of the mandate received sufficient consideration. The eviction of thousands of peasants created a landless underclass, crammed into squalid shanty towns and stripped of a future. Hope Simpson warned, the principle of the persistent and deliberate boycott of Arab labor in the Zionist colonies is not only contrary to the provisions of that article of the mandate, but it is in addition a constant and increasing source of danger to the country. True to the first Aliyah philosophy, the PICA-owned Jaffa orange groves continued to employ Arab laborers. They were more experienced, more productive, and cheaper than their Jewish counterparts. To the Histadrut, labor Zionism's powerful labor organization, which admitted only Jews, this was intolerable. Its policy of Hebrew labor dictated that Arab employment be eliminated from the Jewish economy by any means necessary. As historian Zachary Lockman describes, pickets patrolled access roads and entrances, turned Arab laborers away, and sometimes resorted to intimidation or force. In some cases, irrigation lines were cut or tools removed to halt work until Jewish labor was hired. Flying pickets in the towns moved from shop to shop and work site to work site, threatening boycotts and sometimes employing physical violence against both Arab workers and Jewish employers who refused to comply with the policy of Hebrew labor. The result? According to official Mandate Labor Department statistics compiled by Roberto Bachi in 1920, about 25% of the labor force in the Jewish economy was Arab. By 1935, it was less than 5%. That brings us to another Zionist talking point: that internal migration and urbanization in Palestine were driven by Arabs moving to get jobs in the Jewish economy. Mandate census data from 1922 to 1947 tells a different story. It reveals a striking inverse relationship. The bigger the local Jewish economy, the fewer Arabs it attracted. Palestine's two main economic hubs were Haifa and Jaffa, Tel Aviv. By the late 1930s, Jaffa, Tel Aviv was the center of the Jewish economy and home to the largest Jewish population in Palestine. Haifa, by contrast, had a much smaller Jewish community, and its economy revolved around the British-administered port, railways, and oil refinery sectors that employed Arabs. The results were stark. Arab migration to Jaffa increased by 158%, while Haifa saw a dramatic 290% growth. The pattern makes sense. Jewish enterprises excluded Arab labor, so the bigger the Jewish economy, the fewer the job opportunities for Arabs. And that brings us back to the myth we started with. Zionists claimed there were Lebanese Arabs in Lebanon, Syrian Arabs in Syria, Jordanian Arabs in Jordan, Egyptian Arabs in Egypt, and in Palestine? No such thing as a Palestinian Arab, just migrants from surrounding countries supposedly lured by the Jewish economy. If hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants had settled, there would have been large immigrant neighborhoods, civic associations, remittance networks, just like there were in every city with large numbers of immigrants. Yet there is zero evidence of any of that. Why was there no friction between Palestinians desperate for work and the illegal aliens who came to steal their jobs? How is it no Palestinian newspaper mentioned these hordes of foreigners who would have had a devastating impact on Palestinian society? And most importantly, why would Arab migrants flood into a country gripped by sectarian violence to seek jobs from Jews who didn't hire Arabs? So there you have it. Another Zionist myth bites the dust. The Zionists didn't create jobs for Arabs, they destroyed them, and they did it by design. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you would like to see more content like this.